It's easy to see when you look at me. If you look closely, 50 don't back down.
"50 Cent, the epitome of beef. A dealer from Queens who made a name for himself in the rap industry with his sharp tongue. But in 1999, 50 Cent was just one of thousands of New York rappers trying to break into the rap scene. And it was in that year that the beef between 50 Cent and Ja Rule began in the Queens neighborhoods where both rappers lived. As 50 Cent explains, a friend of 50's, Ja Rule, ripped off his chain. After that, Ja Rule saw 50 with the guy who had ripped him off in a club. And that's how the feud started. Ja Rule still claims that's not how it happened. But whatever the case, words turned into action one day. When the two ran into each other by chance in Atlanta, 50 Cent punched Ja Rule in the face and a brawl broke out. From then on, the beef was official. On October 12, 1999, 50 Cent attacked Ja Rule for the first time on a song called Your Life's on the Line, which slowly made waves underground. Ja Rule, on the other hand, who was at the height of his career, hardly ever responded. His colleagues on the Murder Inc. label usually took care of the responses, just like in March 2000. At that time, 50 Cent was in the Hit Factory studio when Bugatty, the label boss of Murder Inc., confronted 50 Cent with several people. The conversation turned into another brawl. Since there were so many people in the studio, someone accidentally hit the light switch and the brawl continued in the dark. Until 50 Cent shouted, "Give me the gun!" When Blackchild, a member of Murder Inc., had heard this, he pulled out a knife and stabbed 50 Cent, who couldn't see what was happening to him. 50 took a studio box and threw it at Murder Inc.'s crew, who then fled the studio. A few days later, Blackchild was arrested and still claims that 50 was the reason. 50, on the other hand, claims that he never cooperated with the police. According to my research, there really was a statement against Blackchild. However, it wasn't from 50 Cent, but from a DJ who was in the studio and had nothing to do with the whole mess. Be that as it may, the charges against Blackchild were dropped in the end, because 50 Cent did not testify in court. In April 2000, 50 Cent released a very controversial song called Ghetto Quran. In this song, he told true stories from the Queens ghetto using real names. He said he wanted to pay tribute to the legends of the streets. But one of the big names in Queens, Supreme, who was also mentioned by name in the song, didn't like it at all. Supreme was a street millionaire who happened to have business dealings with Murder Inc. To this day, rumors persist that this led to the next event, which took place in May 2000. 50 Cent left his grandmother's building and got into the back of a friend's car. At that very moment, a masked man appeared and started shooting. 50 jumped around in the car and the shooter hit him several times in the legs. While he was trying to protect himself, the shooter stuck the gun through the window and continued shooting. One bullet hit 50 Cent's hand and one hit his face as the driver of the car finally drove away. He was taken to the hospital and the bullets were removed from 50 Cent's body. The shooter was shot dead 3 weeks later in a situation that had nothing to do with 50 Cent. After 13 days, 50 was released from the hospital and had to learn to walk, write, and speak again. Now he had a long recovery ahead of him, but as if that weren't enough, to top it all off, his music label dropped him. While he was going through the worst phase of his life, Ja Rule was on top of the world. He sold millions of records, was a constant presence in the charts, and won award after award. Features with J-Lo and Ashanti were played over and over again on the radio. People my age remember that very well. Everyone had written 50 Cent off until 2002. After a break of almost 2 years, 50 Cent released his first song called Fuck You, in which he insulted the people who had shot at him and all those who thought he would never rap again. And he did it in typical 50 Cent style, naming names, and the New York scene loved it. He slowly rebuilt his career until a tape by 50 landed on Eminem's desk. He signed 50, and 50 Cent became the biggest topic in town. Ja Rule, who had of course gotten wind of this, warned Eminem that if 50 Cent ever dissed him, he would go after every single one of them. Even though Eminem tried to dissuade 50 Cent, he released the song Wankster shortly after his deal, in which he disses Ja Rule throughout the entire song without actually mentioning his name. Ja Rule responded with a freestyle rap on Rap City in which he dissed 50 Cent by name and even went on the radio to prove that 50 Cent had allegedly reported him to the police after the stabbing at the Hit Factory. After that, 50 Cent had had enough. He went into the studio with his entire crew and recorded a mixtape in which he dissed the entire Murder Inc. The mixtape featured legendary diss songs, such as the song I Smell Pussy, which is death-defying. You have to check it out. Unfortunately, I can't embed the songs for legal reasons. Sorry about that. Anyway, the mixtape was very well received, and before Ja Rule could respond, Supreme was arrested for his criminal activities. And because Murder Inc. had worked with Supreme, the police also charged Murder Inc. In January 2003, the police raided all Murder Inc. buildings. And to top it all off, just a few days later, 50 Cent released a single from his debut album, which we all know, called In the Club. From that point on, the tables were completely turned. 50 released his album Get Rich or Die Tryin, which became the biggest hip-hop success of all time. And on that album was a song called Back Down, which was a direct diss to Ja Rule. And to cause even more damage, 50 Cent also included his old diss song Lives on the Line as a bonus track on the album. From that point on, most people were on 50 Cent's side in the beef. When Ja Rule noticed this, he started responding and released a bunch of diss tracks in which he really went overboard. He insulted everyone who had anything to do with 50 Cent. Even Haley, Eminem's daughter. Of course, this didn't go down well with the masses. Eminem responded with numerous songs, and the two sides traded barbs for months. Ja Rule, whose label was falling apart, tried to take on the biggest rappers in the world. That couldn't end well. That's exactly what 50 Cent thought, who didn't miss an opportunity to discredit Ja Rule. And with all the attention he had around the world, he was very successful. When Ja Rule released his new album, in which he dissed 50 and his gang on 10 songs, 50 was already untouchable. The album flopped mercilessly. When 50 Cent noticed, he started to silence Ja Rule. And without a label behind him, Ja Rule couldn't do anything about it. When all charges against the label, Murder Inc. were dropped in 2005 and the label was able to start again, it was already too late. They were never able to recapture their former success. In 2010, Ja Rule went to prison for gun possession and hasn't had a hit since he got out. 50 Cent's career, on the other hand, has been brilliant. He's just the perfect strategist. A few years ago, for example, he lost a huge lawsuit in which he had to pay several $1 million in fines. What does 50 do? He sues his lawyers and wins even more money than he had to pay in fines. And I think that's why he was able to destroy Ja Rule's career. He thought very strategically, while Ja Rule thought with his heart. Well, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Would you like to see more documentaries like this? It's a lot of work. You have no idea. So please show some love. A like and a comment really helps me. Stay healthy and see you next time for another documentary.